Alright, so this is Antonio Ortiz, and I'm introducing the startup stratosphere today with
Holly O'Brien from SkillZilla.
SkillZilla. Alright, so Holly, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. SkillZilla, give us a little brief rundown of what SkillZilla actually is.
All right, well, SkillZilla is going to be bringing an adulting playbook to the market in the next month or so. We've put together 193 courses that our kids and youth need to know to be successful adults that nobody's teaching. So interviewing, resume writing, budgeting, communication skills, emotional intelligence, all of these things that there's kind of like a gap being left by society and schools. We're just going to step right in there and fill it.
Okay, so for those of y'all that might be living under a rock, what's wrong with the school system right at this moment that you can see?
Well, right now it's twofold because our society isn't really dealing with inflation all that well. So we have parents that are working a full-time job plus a side hustle, sometimes another full-time job. They don't have time to sit with their kids and teach them these skills. So they're not teaching them budgeting. They're not including them in these things because they're in survival mode. They're just putting food on the table. So they're not really looking to the future yet because they need today. School systems, they are being dictated to what they can and can't teach. CTAE classes are being removed, and actually 80% of our schools now in the United States don't have any CTAE classes. That means no home ec, no budgeting, no welding, no any applicable skills that are being taught. So that's leaving our kids ill-prepared for the workforce. They can't communicate. They don't know how to do eye contact. They can't make change, like simple change at a cash register. They don't know how to do that math because they were taught different. So we're just trying to get in and reteach common sense, basically.
Sounds great. And heard you say CTE and
CTAE.
CTAE. Give people what CTAE.
So CTAE are critical thinking and in education. So they're going to teach you skills like home ec, financial literacy. Welding is a CTAE class. So basically any kind of skill that isn't academic labeled is a CTAE class, including music as well. Music is a CTAE class.
Okay, yep, that's definitely. So that kind of brings me to another thing. The 4 pillars of quotients.
Yeah.
I keep screwing that word up over and over. I gotta think potion with a T at the end. Quotient. So with SkillZilla, are you gonna offer anything that gives anything on those quotients? Which is well, you probably know them better than me, right?
I hope so. So IQ is your intelligent quotient, and that is how you can problem solve, how you can take things as they come and you just solve for them as they're coming at you. Emotional quotient is how you understand emotions and how you can relate to other humans and kind of look at their world through their eyes instead of your own experiences. We can all look through our own experiences, but it takes emotional intelligence to look at it from someone else's side and see that through their experiences. The spiritual quotient or social quotient is the same thing. It's how you relate to your world, your purpose, your vision, what impact you want to make. And then adversity quotient, I like to call it adaptability quotient, is how you adapt to situations as they come towards you. So if your bills are late, how are you adapting to that? Are you getting another job? Are you just waiting to see what happens?
I like to ignore them personally.
Me too. Just hit ignore on all calls. If I don't answer, it doesn't exist, right? But those are the 4 different things, and we are focusing on all of them. We want to make sure that our kids and youth are well-rounded individuals to where when they go into their adult life that they get more success out of it.
Yes, definitely.
Because it took me 10 years. I'm a high school dropout. It took me 10 years to get through the adulting nonsense, just figuring out what I didn't know. So
took me a little longer.
Took me 10 years. 10 years. I wasted 10 years of my life just trying to figure out how to be an adult. So if I can give kids and youth that 10 years back, then they'll be able to achieve so much more and be so much more healthy, happy humans.
Okay. So yeah, that brings me to the why. So you said you spent 10 years.
Yeah.
Just trying to be adult. I think I spent 25, maybe 30. But so yeah, tell us why exactly you want to give this information, and why did you choose, an app platform to push it out?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm a high school dropout. I had to figure it out on my own. School wasn't for me. They didn't teach in a way that spoke to me, to where I was engaged. So I was like, I'm wasting my time. So I just got out. I waited tables. I got married at 19, divorced at 24. I have 6 children. 4 of them I had myself. 2 of them my husband brought to me and gifted. So we have 6 boys, ages 20 to 13. And so there's the struggle right there. In my household, I have Gen Z.
Besides the feeding part.
Yes.
They eat 3 meals a day.
Oh my gosh.
Or more.
And riot. Like, I remember when money was tight, and I'm like, no, we can't buy all of those snacks. I swear, if I didn't buy snacks, they were going to eat my cupboards. Like, they're just going to eat the doors off. Like, they're just going to riot.
Start gnaw.
Yeah, just gnaw. But that is what drove me to SkillZilla, is seeing their challenges as they're coming up, seeing my own. I know that we're not the only family that's in that hustle mentality that didn't get to instill values.
Well, I have 4 girls, 1 boy. So that's a whole different dynamic.
Yes.
But like I said, they still eat more than 3 times a day.
Yes, they do.
So my whole thing was, and I'm going to bring it from my perspective. Well, I didn't have a dad in my home. Can SkillZilla, would it show me, maybe how to do my tie or how to have proper etiquette?
It does. We do go over social things as well, how to eat in front of people, how to not slurp. I actually went through all of those things. My grandparents were old Southern money, so they put me through social and they put me through all of these things. I hated it because I'm not that kind of person, but they loved it and I did it for them. So it was nice to learn those kind of etiquettes and things. But we are going to be teaching that. A lot of the things that we're going to be teaching, like you said, that you didn't have a dad, we're going to be doing car care as well.
There you go.
So oil changes, tire changes, all of the lights that come on that I call achievement points, by the way. I get a new dashboard light and I'm like, woohoo, achievement point.
It's like getting a pinball machine.
Yes, and everything's lighting up.
Okay. But yeah, so like I said, the times have changed, and I couldn't imagine having an app that would actually show me how to look at the engine oil, or heck, how to even hold a hammer, probably. And so, okay, so we know it's an app. Do you ever see like anyone taking it and bringing it maybe into a closed group setting? Do y'all have any kind of interactive, like where I can be on the camera with someone else, or if you're close enough, is there?
We don't have anything like that yet. We do have a community board though, that they can talk to each other. It's heavily monitored. Nothing is going to be posted that we don't approve, because safety is number
Throw a flag on that right away.
Yes. Safety is our number one. We want to make sure that we give kids an environment where they can learn and have fun and be rewarded, because in the app it's gamified. So they'll get achievement points and rewards, and they'll be able to turn those in for like GameStop gift cards, Google gift cards, Apple gift cards, whatever they want. They can turn those in and be rewarded to learn these skills, because it is essential that we teach these skills to our kids, because what we're having in the workforce right now is that generational conflict. So you have the old school boomers. Yes, the clash of the generations. So you have our boomers in the workforce and our Gen Z. Boomers don't understand technology at all, and Gen Z doesn't understand life without technology. So it's important for us to fill in those gaps so the generations can even communicate and work together. We heard a story last night in class that one of our classmates,
shout out to Make Startups at the clubhouse.
Somebody in our class, they're saying that they're having that generational pain that Gen Z and boomers just are not able to communicate very easily. So I'm hoping that with SkillZilla we can ease some of that pain, and we can help not just Gen Z and the generations in the future, but maybe we can help Gen Z learn how to communication up, right?
As far as the 4 quotients that we just talked about, like, give us an example of how you would incorporate those into your app and into the courses on SkillZilla.
All right, so for IQ, we can help with critical thinking skills and problem solving, so we can lead them down the path of how they would solve a problem. So we can teach them the steps. So for me, my personal solving is work backwards, which is a technique. So this is where you want to go. How do you get there? You work backwards. So if I want to go on a trip in August, I need to schedule a plane by June. I need to schedule a hotel by this time. So that's kind of a problem solving technique. So you can teach those things, and you can help kids and youth solve those problems as they come about. For emotional intelligence, you can do the same thing. You can teach empathy, you can teach understanding, you can teach cultural sensitivity, and all of these things is just education. Like, you can fix so many things just through education, just teaching someone something instead of just assuming that they know. So for emotional, we do focus on relational aspects, so understanding and putting yourself in other people's shoes and making sure that you are slow to judge and quick to understand. So that's what we're trying to implement as far as EQ. Adaptability goes back to problem solving and critical thinking. Those two are kind of intertwined. As long as you can build your mind up to believe that you can do things, then you can be adaptable. So you can be working a corporate job, making 6 figures, and you get laid off. So what's your adaptability quotient? Are you going to wallow and feel sorry for yourself and say, well, now what am I going to do? Or are you going to, my grandma always said, pull up your big girl panties and make something happen. Do what you need to do to get to that next step. For me, my layoffs were huge open doors. Yes, that one closed, but the one that was opened led me to SkillZilla and led me here. So it's all about how you look at things. It's all about how you adapt to things. And that's really what has gotten me far in life, is my adaptability quotient, because I'm highly adaptable to any situation. So I'm a huge proponent of getting that adaptability quotient up, because pretty much you can do anything as long as you're adaptable, as long as you don't get stuck. And I like to tell my kids that I have a sledgehammer that I keep handy. So every time we come up against a wall, I'm reaching for that sledgehammer and I'm going through it. So I'm going to try to pass that sledgehammer along to you.
She's going to pass it on.
Yes.
She will pass it on.
Pass it on.
Well, actually, you have extras, so you just hand them out.
I'll just hand them out. I'll be the Oprah of sledgehammers. You get a sledgehammer and you get a sledgehammer.
So with that being said, that's another little thing I wanted to touch on was in our school systems. They definitely do not teach you. They basically teach you how to think, or not how to think, what to think instead of how to think. And so with SkillZilla, I see huge potential. Do you have any personal spiel you want to do about connecting the dots with people as far as?
Yes. So I'm slightly autistic and I have ADHD. So there are so many personalities on the spectrum that it's hard for schools to cater to every individual. Really, really, really difficult. And I almost feel like that's unrealistic expectation that schools are going to be able to teach everyone. There's not one product on earth that's fit for everyone. So that's what SkillZilla is going to shed light on, is we don't need a one road path. We need a multi-road path to make sure that we can have the most inclusion, the most success with youth. So that's what our ultimate goal is to shine a light on not the flaws in education, because we have unrealistic expectations of our education system, but we want to shine a light on what kids actually need and kind of work with educators and parents to make sure that between the business sector, nonprofits, education sector, and parents, we're getting everything that our kids need to them.
So
it's a team effort.
Get a lot of feedback, but all the, because we're definitely gonna make sure nothing that we're not or not me, because
he's part of SkillZilla now.
SkillZilla,
he's just so excited.
SkillZilla is not gonna teach none of the wrong things. We're definitely gonna have that feedback and keep our ear to the street or in the virtual classroom.
Yes, and we have educators on our team as well that have gone through the public school system and know how to work it, and they know what is going on behind the scenes. So they're giving us advice as well and helping us build it. So we have several educators on our advisory board.
Like the 4 out of 5 dentists, right?
Yeah, 4 out of 5
teachers recommend SkillZilla.
And then the 5th one is asleep.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a phone with apps. They still using the jitter. Not a jitterbug, a clamshell.
Carbon copies. They have carbon copies.
Man, they're abacus too.
Yeah, abacus.
Oh man, they're keeping it really primitive with the learning.
Yes.
Which our public education, like she said, is what is it, a mold, and they just want to push everyone through the same exact mold.
Yeah.
So SkillZilla, changing people, or not changing, teaching people with different maps and different guidelines.
We're teaching you how to be you.
There you go. So
not what everybody else wants you to be, but what you are and what you want to be.
That's awesome. So give them a website. You can promote your website. Tell them how to get there. We'll have like all these little dazzling text on the screen for them as well.
Perfect. So if you're interested in finding out more about SkillZilla, you can find us at skillzilla.app. Make sure you put the .app because it's my domain and I still put the .com, but it's skillzilla.app. You can also find us on socials at SkillZilla US.
And it's once again SkillZilla, and we'll have it displayed. You can reach me if you can't figure out how to type that in. We'll also put links in the description and everything. We want to give a shout out to Make Startups and of course co-founder.os.
Yep.
So Antonio Ortiz signing off.
Holly O'Brien for SkillZilla. Thanks, y'all.
Love and peace.